Have you ever heard a woman crying late at night? If you do, don't go near it, run away. It might be La Llorona, the weeping woman. She is a famous urban legend from Mexico. People say she walks near rivers and lakes looking for her children. A long time ago, she was a beautiful woman named Maria. One day she got so angry and sad that she drowned her own kids. When she realized what she did, she jumped into the water and died. But instead of resting in peace, her spirit was cursed. Now she cries out, "Mis hijos, my children," and looks for other children to take. People say she wears a long white dress, her face is hidden, and her voice is so scary it can freeze your blood. Some say they saw her in Mexico, the US, and even Colombia. Wherever she goes, the night gets cold, quiet turns to crying, and fear takes over. If you ever hear her, just hope she doesn't see you. My name is Carlos Mendez, and this is the true story of how I met La Llorona, the weeping woman who haunts the Rio Grande. I grew up in San Miguel, a small border town where the summer heat makes the air wobble like a mirage. Everyone here knows about La Llorona, the ghost woman who drowned her children and now wanders the riverbanks crying for them. We kids used to dare each other to say her name 3 times in front of a mirror at night. But none of us really believed, until that night last summer changed everything. It all started at my best friend Mateo's 18th birthday party on July 15th, the hottest night of the year. His family's ranch sits near the Big Bend in the Rio Grande, about 2 miles outside town. The party was wild, about 50 of us from school dancing on the concrete patio under colorful paper banners that fluttered in the hot wind. The music blasted so loud I could feel the bass vibrating through my shoes, a mix of mariachi and hip-hop that somehow worked together. The air smelled like grilled meat, spilled beer, and the sweet floral perfume all the girls were wearing. I remember Lucia Hernandez pulling me onto the dance floor during Despacito. We'd been friends since freshman year, but that night something felt different. Her rose perfume mixed with the smell of sweat as we danced, and when she laughed at my terrible moves, my stomach did this weird flip-flop thing. I kept sneaking glances at her all night, pretending to check my phone whenever she caught me looking. Around midnight, Mateo's older brother Javier brought out the good stuff, premium tequila smuggled from Jalisco in Coke bottles. We did shot after shot, the alcohol burning my throat like liquid fire. By 1 a.m., the world had that pleasant fuzzy edge to it, and my button-down shirt was stuck to my sweaty back. Lucia offered me a ride home when she left with some other friends, but drunk me said, "Nah, I like walking." Biggest mistake of my life. The river path was my usual shortcut home, a dusty trail winding through scrub brush that follows the curves of the Rio Grande. My abuela always warned me, never go to the river at night, mijo. That's where La Llorona takes bad children. But at 18 I thought ghost stories were for little kids. The full moon lit my way, painting everything in eerie silver light. At first it was peaceful, crickets chirping, frogs croaking, the river gurgling softly. Then suddenly, complete silence. No insects, no frogs. Just my own too loud breathing and the Rio Grande's dark waters moving slow and thick like syrup. That's when I heard the crying. A woman's sob tore through the night, raw, broken, drowning in grief. "Ay, mis hijos. ¿Dónde están mis niños?" My children, where are my boys? The voice wasn't right. It sounded like two people speaking at once, one human, one something else. My drunk brain slowly realized it came from the river's deepest bend, where the water turns black under the overhanging trees. My hands shook so bad I dropped my phone. The screen cracked but stayed lit, showing 1:47 a.m. in that eerie blue light. Then came the splashing, not the little plops of fish jumping, but something big moving against the current. The smell hit me next, rotting flowers, wet mud, and something metallic like old blood. All the alcohol in my system evaporated, replaced by pure fear that turned my limbs to ice. When I looked up, she was there. A woman in a soaking white dress stood waist-deep in the river. Moonlight made her skin look blue and swollen, like a corpse that's been in the water too long. Her black hair covered most of her face except for her mouth, stretched too wide in a soundless scream that showed teeth that looked too sharp. The dress floated around her like she was underwater, yet she stood perfectly still. Then she moved. Her head tilted sideways at an impossible angle, like a broken doll's neck. That's when I saw her eyes, black and shiny as a beetle's shell, reflecting my terrified face back at me 100 times in those dark mirrors. 2. Her voice bubbled up like a drowning woman trying to speak underwater. "Have you seen my sons?" I ran. Branches whipped my face as I crashed through the brush, not caring about the thorns tearing at my clothes. I fell hard, tasting blood where my teeth cut my lip. Behind me, the splashing grew louder, faster. She was coming. I don't remember reaching the road. Just suddenly being there on the pavement, my lungs burning, my knees scraped raw. When I finally dared to look back, she stood at the tree line, not running, not even breathing hard. Just watching me with those endless black eyes. Then the street light above me flickered. When the light steadied, she was gone. I told my parents I fell running from a stray dog. Told my friends I got sick from bad tequila. But the nightmare started that same night, dreaming of black water filling my lungs, small hands pulling me under. Then last Thursday, I woke to wet child-sized footprints on my bedroom floor. They led from my window to my bed, tiny toes clearly visible in the moonlight. The stench of rotting flowers was so strong it made me vomit over the side of my bed. My mom found me shaking and crying, unable to form words to explain. Last night was worse. At exactly 3:17 a.m., whispering outside my second-story window, "Carlitos, help me find them." My always locked window was open just a crack. On the sill, two small handprints, still glistening wet in the moonlight. The handprints glisten wet in the moonlight. As I stare at them, the droplets begin to move, sliding upward against gravity, forming words on my windowsill. "Tieres mo ahora." You are mine now. My breath fogs in the suddenly freezing air, though it's the middle of summer. The crying outside stops abruptly, replaced by something worse, complete silence. Not even the usual night sounds of crickets or distant traffic. Just my pounding heartbeat and a new sound. A wet dragging noise coming from my closet. The closet door creaks open an inch. Through the crack, I see a pale hand too long with broken nails curl around the edge. The smell of river water and rotting lilies floods my room. My phone buzzes violently on my nightstand. When I look, the screen shows a photo of me sleeping that was clearly taken tonight, but there's something else in the picture. A woman's face hovering just inches above mine, her black hair hanging down like seaweed, her mouth stretched in that impossible scream. The timestamp says 3:33 a.m. That's when my bed starts shaking. Something is underneath it. I can hear the rustling of a wet dress, the sound of fingernails scratching against the wooden floorboards. The last thing I see before my lamp flickers out is my bedroom mirror, where my reflection remains frozen in terror even as the real me tries to scream. In the dark, icy fingers close around my ankle and begin to pull. From the hallway, my little sister's voice calls out, "Carlos? Who's that lady in your room? And why is she holding your hand?"